Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Philip Simon, Will Brax, Melby Styles, Troy Shuker, Bose Nail, Joseph Pizarro, Samson, Maris, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Lost Cat FE, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Mike, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, NA Literalist, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Liam Nedrick Jr., Abraham Mohammed, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic936, Life is Short, Fireball X, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, and David Wayne Foster. So a massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I'm going to hand over to whoever is in Discord and G+, so you can enjoy their conversation while I set up for today's live show.
Harp, what I'm asking, listen, you hear me, Harp? Do you ever go fishing and listen to Flat Earth?
No. I think about it.
Why? Why not?
I think about it. I do a lot of stuff in my head when I'm sitting there about Flat Earth.
You're
about
thinking about important stuff, man.
Are you gonna? Can I actually finish a sentence? So this is what I do. I sit there, and since I go through this every morning. This is new. I've been talking lately, but I listen every day. And I listen to all kinds of new stuff every day. So when I'm fishing, not only am I trying to catch fish, but I'm sitting there contemplating on everything that's been said. And that's what I do. And sometimes I look and I take this picture and I look down the road and I'm going, I take this picture, I look at the picture, the tires are starting to disappear from the bottom up of the cars from 2 blocks away. So I throw them pictures in here and people just laugh at it. And, that's what Globers do. They laugh at the truth.
Hello.
So yeah, when I'm fishing, say that again.
Do you think you saw Earth curvature?
Never. I've been out on the ocean for lots of times. Never saw it. Never saw it.
Well, how would you know? Would you know refraction from Earth curvature if you saw it?
I don't know what the word was back in the day when I was out on the boats all the time, but we called it weather. Basically, the word refraction never.
Call it for water. There's heat. There's
there's all kinds of stuff
and shit. Light bends and shit. Right? We've seen it.
Yeah.
And it does a whole bunch of different shit at long distances from an observer based on the angle, to the observer of light. And there's a lot of things that we know that they don't include when they look at shit. So the black swan is a pretty good argument still.
Yeah, but that's where they use a bait and switch. All the things you just listed are real effects that we can observe in the weather as you described it, to use your language, right? But what I've got on screen is their Earth curve mathematics, its side profile, what we call Muppet vision, orthographic view. So you see the side of your own head and the target, in this case the horizon. Well, if you're looking at the side of your own head and you're looking at the horizon and you're refracting the light in that context, that refractive effect has nothing to do with what happens in the air and everything to do with an R value that they'll bend the light at. So it's a bait and switch. They'll often talk really educatedly about those refractive effects or the weather. But then they'll bait and switch and swap it for 7/6R or whatever value they want based on an R that they're going to bend it through the quote-unquote atmosphere. So sphere-shaped air and light's going to be bending through the sphere-shaped air and everyone's assuming that that's what refraction is. No, that's terrestrial refraction based on R. So they have to bait and switch real refraction with terrestrial refraction. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Hello, everyone in G+.
Hi,
Hello,
Nathan.
Tenth. Hello, father of a stolen child. Hello, Neil.
No, it was me. I'm new.
Hello.
I'm very pleased to meet you. My name is Gregory.
Very pleased to meet you, Gregory. Good to have you.
What's up, Greg?
Nathan, how you
Greg,
like that?
okay, or it has to be Gregory.
I think a lot of people miss the importance of measurement when you talk about this subject. And it was claimed that you were measuring a sphere with a tangent plane prior to the black swan. You can't throw the measurement of R away and keep a sphere. It doesn't work that way.
Don, what is the thing that you say about how do you observe things and measure distances? Something?
What?
Measurements are of
Hey,
what
hold
it
on,
is.
listen. There's a way of thinking about, say you're in a room and you're just looking at something with your eyes. How do you calculate the circumference of your head? So if you're in a room, what is the thing that you said? It was good, because I don't know how you would even use trigonometry. I don't know how they're getting these distances or numbers or measurements.
Well, I asked the Glober, how could they use trigonometry or a protractor to use the lights in their room to measure the circumference of their skull?
It's all about how they measure light and distances and how they incorporate math to justify angles or just bizarre times of the day with temperature. I don't know how they're so confident to say that they know what they're even doing. It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, they got to follow.
Hold on.
Go on, John.
If you can correlate a shadow to an actual, head, you could probably, knowing the distance between where you are and where that shadow rests against, figure out the size of your own head. The problem is that there's something that's breached the geometry they've claimed. They're no longer doing measurements. They're preaching.
You're cutting out. You're cutting out, bro.
Well,
Hey, Brian.
they need they need either the horizon to be geometric, or they need sun rays to be parallel. The horizon is not geometric, sun rays are not parallel, so they have nowhere to go.
Dude,
You have to start with those two pre-assumptions.
Well, when they're drawing any distance, any sort of light in the sky, they're probably using trigonometry. It's going to use angles up to some sort of arbitrary place that they, I don't know how they get the distance, but they're just making it up through mathematics. How would you prove any of that? How would you mathematically prove any measurement to some sort of light? Are you kidding me? That's just make-believe, fake math, not even physics stuff.
They're starting with the R value, and then they're adding in the speed of light. That's what it's about. That's how they get these big, mad, crazy distances, supposed measurements. It's all about the speed of light and the R value. That's where they're the two pre-assumptions. Speed of light is not correct. Speed of light is based on an average, not a definite.
They don't have any for light.
You're clipping. You're clipping.
When you're talking over each other.
Okay,
boy.
why is it? Okay,
Yeah.
how much math do they have for light?
Chill, Sin Cleanser.
Yeah, I was trying to say that the speed of light is not a definite. It's an average based on a supposed average distance from the globe Earth to the sun, an average of the offset elliptical orbit of the sun that the globe Earth makes in the heliocentric model. It is a complete load of rubbish. But that's one of their pre-assumptions. Starting with R is the first, second one, speed of light, that they based off a belief of R and heliocentrism. Okay, finished.
They base it off of refraction. every light that they can measure for any speed is going to be based on refraction. That requires some sort of referential relative measurement. It's such a philosophy, actually.
May I interject the thought here?
Well, you can, but I
One
just
second.
want to say
No, I just
Hold
told
on,
you what it
Ten.
was.
Hold on.
Sorry, Nick.
Trying to say to Singlet, I just covered that with you though. You're like, they need some predetermined value. Yeah, R, the radius, 7/6 of it when they talk about refraction. So I'll just explain this to you. They've got to do a bait and switch, talk about refraction, seem like they're educated, and often are, about effects that happen in nature. But then at some point they switch out the suitcase, so to speak, and the other suitcase has got terrestrial refraction, which is based on R. And that R value is what they require, but that R value is acquired by way of geometric horizon, debunked in the Black Swan.
Yeah. Okay, so listen, when they get whatever, see, when they're looking at something, right, 39, 59, whatever, they're seeing something and they don't know what they're seeing. They don't know the angle, they don't know the deflection of light through the medium, they don't know anything about refraction, they don't know anything about what they're saying, and they'll say that they can calculate some sort of what? Curvature of the Earth? What are they talking about? Are you kidding me? It's just like they're making it up.
But without the connection. And it's kind of the other way around. So it's not that you have all these effects. They'll talk about all the effects in a very succinct, concise, and educated manner. But that's when you say, well, they don't know them. Yeah, but they do know that they can apply 7/6R in standard format in all circumstances and just say that is refraction when it's terrestrial refraction. So you're like, well, how do they get it if they haven't got any of the historic data about the day or the weather or readings? Well, they don't have to. They only have to know about those effects. So when they use 7/6R, it seems like it's justified, but it's a bait and switch. Anyway, I'm not going to say it a third time.
All right, may I interject something, please?
Go ahead.
They never measured anything but a shadow. That's it. So let's go back to the story, because that's probably what it is. Eratosthenes, I said it right, got a shadow.
Very good.
On a pillar 500 miles away from where he was observing the bottom of a well where there was no shadow, because it was a certain day of the year where the sun was directly overhead, zenith over the well. So the sun's GP, geographical position, is the well where Eratosthenes is. 500 miles away, there's a shadow cast by that same said sun off of a pillar that measured, I believe, 7.2 degrees. That's how they got the measurement for R. They pre-assumed, they lived on a sphere, that the Earth's surface curved 7.2 degrees. Then they had to take that to the central angle, the radius, because if you're on the sphere, it's going to have a radius. And that's where they started the measurement. The measurement starts from a pre-assumed sphere, from a shadow, and then you say, oh, there's our radius. So we measure everything from the radius, except light doesn't come in parallel. The whole thing fell apart right there. It was over a flat surface. And we know light comes in divergent, not parallel. It's not infinity away, or 93 million miles in this case, that they need it to be. Because they need the light coming in parallel, and they need the Earth's surface to be curved. None of those things are there. Now, having said that, Black Swan comes in and says, is the horizon Earth curve? Yes, the horizon's Earth curve. Blocks the bottoms of boats and buildings. Great. At a 1 foot observer height, based on your 3959, it can be no further than 1.22 miles out.
Welcome to the Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Sleeping Warrior, father of a stolen child, Neil, Brian's Logic, Eli, the Adam Meakin, 10th Man. I think I covered Brian. I think that's it. And a load of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hey, how are things?
Good.
Morning. Morning.
Afternoon.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
It is a very nice morning indeed. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge, that's a horizon, formerly called Earth curve?
No.
No. But you know what's funny? It used to be the geometric horizon that proved that the Earth is not flat. If you go back on YouTube to any point in time that predates the Black Swan, you'll spot the contradictions. They're all right there. There are loads of them.
They're denying Earth curve now. That's where we're at.
Are you going to tell us any contradiction, or are we just going to guess?
Are you kidding?
Well, who, me?
Yeah, I want to hear some.
The contradiction is
I
that
just told you.
that's why I'm saying, are you kidding? He just explained that their horizon is Earth curve, and their argument, if you go to a How to Debate Flat Earther website, it'll say the Earth argument as a sphere starts with the horizon, because there are certain, it gets in the way of stuff. That's the edge of the Earth that's blocking your view. That's their horizon. So when they say things like, no one claims the horizon is Earth curve, end quote, Tim Osman, that's them going, I decry my religious belief that the Earth's a sphere.
I thought he said loads of contradictions. I thought there was other stuff.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Arwin. Good to have you. Good show today.
Oh, there's definitely
Thank you.
there's definitely some contradictions. I'm not gonna say the name, but so-called documentary claiming a stripe is disappearing, even though you can still see the apparent horizon past the boat.
Yeah, that's the National Geographic example.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'll
there's a
have
good
to
one.
maybe rehash that video or something. But yeah, Black Swan. They're saying, look how much this striped flag or whatever it is on the back of this ship, or little boat actually, is being obscured by the physical geometric sphere edge horizon, which is behind the boat. So it's a black swan.
Yep. I'll do you
And
one
you can
better.
still see the stripe a little bit.
So there's a video on YouTube that I've been sharing around the last couple days. Posted 4 years ago, and it's titled. Actually, yeah, give me 2 seconds. I downloaded it, so it should
May I
be
ask
right
a
here.
new
Yep.
question?
Hold on, just give me a second.
Proving. It's titled "Proving the Earth is Not Flat." Part 1, the horizon. So within this 15-minute video, every minute that passes by is an explosive blow to the modern day post-Black Swan globe earther. So that's what I mean, because he starts the video with, day and night cycles, lunar eclipses, all of the, normal stuff that people, come in and try to debate us on, like with the script. But the main point of the video, after he's berated flat earthers for being so misguided and dumb, he uses the geometric horizon to prove that the earth is not flat. It's a gift. I'll share it now.
Perfect.
It is.
Was that Gregory that wanted to get a word in while he was just digging that out? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a new question. I don't see Elijah in the live stream room, yet I hear his voice.
Yeah,
about
Elijah, do you not debate flat Earth?
Okay, yeah, don't worry about that. That's just a
I
technical
can't
thing.
stand Sinclair.
Stop. Don't worry about that. I'll make a better announcement. The technical stuff, don't worry about it. The show works. That's all that matters. You can hear him. Good. Excellent. I've got an announcement for the latest Black Swan. Drumroll, please. Brought to you by Ruhif, Conspiracy Catz, and Ranty, the latest and greatest Black Swan. Now, by coincidence, they've called it a white swan, presumably because they don't understand the Karl Popper analogy. Nevertheless, I've got a video that's coming out tonight, and it's coming out at, I think it's 9:15 UK time. And it's called Cat's Big Picture is a Globe Earth Killer. Lol. It's a black swan! So check it out. It's going to be coming out on Nathan Oakley 1980 tonight. All about Earth Curve.
Nice. I actually did the math. You shouldn't see the basin of that tower at all whatsoever. I even actually gave them 40 miles in level of observer, and you still shouldn't see it. Period.
It just shows what they're like. They're bloody lazy. So you'd think if they're going to present something as a flat Earth killer, you'd verify in the first instance that it's a stone cold, matches with their maths, globe claimed to be proving a physical geometric sphere edge piece of evidence before you present it as a flat Earth killer, because then we'll just come along and go, thanks for the black swan, and shove it right in their dumb faces. You're lazy, lads. You're lazy.
I'd say bordering on dishonest. But that picture to have been presented to us as it was, and for us to then yesterday get to the realization that it was they were trying to paint a white swan after they'd cut off a quarter of the picture which showed the clear black swan. I find that more shocking, that they think we're that daft that we won't find the original picture. That it talks about laziness. If you're gonna sow a little bit of a seed of spread a lie, you should at least make it a good lie, not something that can be found out quickly that you're misrepresenting the facts with a quick Google search.
Indeed. I mean, Ratty, if he's part of this, I don't really know the ins and outs or care, but from what I've been led to believe, this is some major milestone for Ranty moving back to the globe. Now, what Ranty should know, because he's been a part of it, is the way we do research. Now, yesterday, just for the audience, you got to see a little bit of that live. Not live, sorry, in the after show. So you can see us all sort of, I'm asking certain questions and trying to keep the conversation on track so I can glean as much information from the people who've actually done the research, because that's me, top quality researcher, right? But meanwhile, you know, I like to say offering a bit of management, which is my Weasley way of saying do nothing. Anyway, but there's Anthony in Google Earth. He's looking for various landmarks. There's Adam recognising various different parts of the picture that have got positions that are going to be useful for measurements. There's QE going to Google Earth, making the measurements and drawing out geometric non-existent horizons and putting them through the black swan modus solens. Everyone, apart from me, really, is pulling their weight. But you got to see that. I mean, I presented it. There you go. If it wasn't for me being here, you would have seen that, which comes out later on tonight. So check that out. It comes out after that video. So I've trimmed out a little bit for those of you who can't sit through a very long video. But today's Uncut and After show on my second channel is all of that process that we went through yesterday. And Ranty, that's my point, was part of that at one stage. He saw how we did all of that. Now, as I say, that's only a small taste. That's the kind of thing that happens off camera that people don't necessarily appreciate. Whereas in this instance, the fact that they've published it in the way we have and we've just looked at it and gone, Black Swan, just really highlights how lazy they are and how little they actually do in terms of checking and double checking and verifying that what they're going to put out into the public doesn't actually destroy their own rhetoric. You'd think they'd check that, but they clearly haven't. Very amusing.
Well, from looking at it yesterday, Nathan, after the after show, we garnered that the actual photographer's position was a little bit more up the road at this little jetty, at the right of this little jetty. And Anthony says he knows the place, he can go down there as well. And from what we could model on Google Earth, to get the angles that are shown in the photograph, he would have more likely have to have been there. And I reckon, I don't know yet, but I reckon his observer height was even lower. So, and either way, from that shore to the shore on the left, it's a 30 straight mile line shot. And maybe a bit more, just as a basic 30.
No. I was just going to say, we just need someone who has a Twitter account right now to volunteer to contact the photographer, because he has a Twitter account, contact information. And none of us yesterday on the show had a Twitter account, just to ask him the specifics.
Well, I mean, that's all well and good, but like Anthony, proactive as he was, he's here. So are you actually at your mic at a pertinent moment, Anthony, this time? Maybe not. Probably not, let's be honest.
It was like watching him in the old days yesterday, Nathan. Him flying over that stuff to the left. It was like going back over the Isle of Man stuff. He's flying over the Google Earth trying to identify spots.
Careful, Adam. Don't blow too much smoke off his ass, because I'm about to sort of pour that fire out. My suggestion.
I just said it was very.
It was.
My memory lane.
Right, let's just agree with you first. Oh, wow. It was. It gives me goosebumps talking about it. Watching Anthony on form is something to behold, because he's like a dog with a bit between his whatever it's. I've forgotten the analogy. Doesn't matter. He was very enthusiastic. And yes,
bit between his teeth.
Bit between his teeth, right. But the tables have turned, Anthony, 2020, 1st Jan, Black Swan. Now we're in a position to do all of the things that they did to you. And I'm going to make it as personal as I can. So when you were charged with getting measurements, getting this, getting that, getting the other, you're all keen now to run out and go to the location, which you know, but don't, in my opinion, I'm not telling you what to do. I wouldn't, if it was me, do that. I would start charging them to do it, like they did to us, if you remember. So this is now our reversed tables Isle of Man. And lean on all of the things that were occurring to us at the time, all the things we were lent on to gather and glean. Just charge them with it. Don't go running and doing it yourself. There's no need, right? This thing's dead in the water, so why entertain it at all? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to go and do it just for fun, but don't make it like a data gathering exercise in any way. You know, set them to go out and say, I've been out there, I'm not claiming it, I've managed to get out there. Use it to bully them with, as opposed to something you need to be going out and measuring. You know what I mean?
I have some reality to throw into that in a moment.
Okay. I agree. I remember when I put in the observation height that I did my Isle of Man thing at, and I only did it based on Google Earth, because what other reference have you got? I did Google Earth, and I noticed that yesterday when we were doing the little bit of digging in what they were claiming, somebody had claimed 19 feet observer height. And I'm like, 19 feet? The water's like right there with you. It's like, there's no way that's 19 feet. I thought, where have they got that number from? And I spotted it was on Google Earth. So they'd done the exact same thing that I did back with the Isle of Man. They've just picked the figure that best suited, or the figure that they've got something to go with. But I know for a fact that that's like, if it's 6 feet, that's all it is, because he's on the wetlands. It looks like he's on the wetlands. So I realized that, yeah, there's no point in like rushing out and doing this. This is their claim. Let's just do, like you say, let's do back to them what they were doing to me, and then ask them for the atmospheric conditions and how much light there was, and pressure and turbulence and humidity and all that kind of stuff, because it's their claim. It's glorious.
Well, I have to throw something in there that may not be, well, it'll be popular enough, but it won't be. It's reality. They're not going to do any of that. They're just going to keep on showing that photograph with hashtag thanks Ranty or hashtag thanks Bev, whatever. And that's what they're going to do. Just like they did with Bob's Gyro. because they didn't go and get a gyro themselves and do any of that. This photograph is not theirs. They didn't go take it. They're just going to use something that someone else did and claim it as proof and never do anything about it. Just keep on trying to put it up in your face. And that's all they're going to try to do. That's what they try to do.
That's
They're
okay,
not
Brian.
going to go and get any measurements.
That's okay.
Right?
That's okay, because we've experienced what they did to us in exactly the same circumstances. Oh, it wasn't fun, but we'll have total justification for our behaviour in exactly the same manner when charging them with backing their own evidence that they're claiming. And yeah, if you want to say, well, the majority of their trolls will just accept it blindly and tell us that they've won. Yeah, they do that when they've lost an argument, Brian. so what?
Well, I just pointed out that if you're waiting for them to do anything about this, they won't. Because the best they've got is what they have. Because if they come out and do any more, they'll make it even worse on themselves. They already tried to clip out the part on the left that shows a 30-mile stretch across to another shoreline. So anything more than that will only make it worse. So what they'll do, same way as if they went off and got a gyro and they found out they wasn't getting a 15 degree an hour drift, then what would they say? Would they tell anyone? No. So whatever they do, we won't see anything of it if they do anything unless it supports their position, because they never bring out honesty.
Yeah, but the other thing that we can point out is that the only person that's going to be arguing in favour of this picture is Ranty. There won't be any ball earthers that will argue it. Why? Well, let's just say it's a tactical ploy or a tactical move so that one person is responsible who's not really on their side, let's be honest. And if it turns out that it didn't do what they thought it did, then he gets the blame. But no baller's going to be arguing this argument for their argument. It's just not going to happen. But I'd like to see Ruhif, what's his name? Rumpus. I'd like to see him come in and argue in favour of it, because he'll just get decimated.
Yeah, if I may, can I break down the math?
Go on, whoever that was in Discord.
If I may break down the maths, right? So the distance to the so-called tower is supposed to be 19 miles away, right? So the eye level was 29 feet. That's 6.6. The geometric horizon, the obscured object will be 102 feet. The tower is 60 or 70 meters. You should not be able to see that. I'll give them actually 35 feet. It'll be 110 feet.
That's as high as a house, right?
Yeah, that's it was 19 foot they have down on their diagram, and that just came straight off the Google. And when and the actual high line, I guarantee, is way lower to the ground.
But this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, Dungio, right? So yeah, you just need to go and present it to them in a little comment, and then we'll maybe moan about the fact that they're deleting these comments. And so it goes on. Like I say, we've experienced it firsthand, but now the tables are turned. They're having to proactively go out and try and debunk flat Earth. Why would that be necessary? I thought all arguments started with the horizon, but clearly not. There are horizons proving how wrong the sphere claim is in this exact example. So do you not think we're going to turn the screws on them? Of course.
If I may, just real quick. Again, they didn't take the picture. We have the photographer's name. We have the photographer's Twitter account. Someone please contact the photographer with a Twitter account and ask him where he took it, at what level. Then, when they say it's whatever feet, we'll say, well, did you ask the photographer where he took it? Because we did.
Yeah, we need to get the exact location as well.
Even then, if he says, just for argument's sake, that it was like, say, 6 feet above the water, they'll still add on another 15 feet because they'll put on the biggest tripod possible and the biggest pair of shoes possible and the biggest anything to get that elevation up. But they need to get it to about 100 feet before there's a conversation there. They are so far behind, it's unbelievable.
I think they need to go and measure it a bit more accurately, like with a tape measure. That sounds familiar, eh? We need to get an accurate measurement. If you're going to start claiming angles, then we're going to need to know exactly how high.
Nathan, I'm not going to be happy with just a claim of measurement. I want to see pictures of you taking the measurements, please.
Damn right. I want them to stretch out a bit of string and do the trig.
And I just want to add as well, not like Miles Delia Davis, where he doesn't do the 360. You've got to do that 360 in slow as well, so we can see.
It's a unique opportunity. I thought this would just never come up again, right? But the Isle of Man is now suddenly under massive amounts of scrutiny again. Because suddenly, the argument we were making during the Isle of Man, which is angular size, which was completely ignored and justified that it's geometric. The very thing they're now saying they haven't got and doesn't exist. But just for reference, that's the argument back in the day. And now they're appreciative of the fact that things get smaller with distance. Excellent. Other than that completely alters the outcome of the Isle of Man discussion. When we beg the question, aren't we nice, begging your question? Of course, we've debunked that now. But it does absolutely render that argument a total loss for the globe in every single respect. Because when you apply angular size reduction, Anthony covered it at the end of the discussion. The double dip effect, I think you'll find. We've got it all documented, lads. We've covered this. Oh, how screwed you are when the tables turn. Black Swan, baby.
This photo is adequate evidence to prove that the Earth is a flat plane, regardless of whether or not you know who took the photo. Correct?
Yeah, it really makes the difference with just being dicks because they were dicks to us.
No, the problem is the photo they show is not the actual full photo that's in the magazine. It's been cropped. When you look at the full photo and you look to the left, it's a black swan. They didn't want to show you that.
Of course they don't.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't, though, I don't think it matters in terms of our scrutiny.
It was quite good last night. I raised this point on Brandon's, and what he did was he went and took it into Photoshop and just chopped off that last bit where you can actually see the shore and the water stretching out further into the distance. And he just chopped it and then just dragged it across to line up the two shorelines. And you can see that 30-mile difference between the shore at Blackpool and the shore in the far distance is probably 4 or 5 mil. Do you know what I mean? In the picture, in terms of how it's contained and compressed within that short area. But you can also see that the shoreline sits higher, further back in terms of perspective than the front shoreline. You can see it's raised, yeah.
That's right. That was very good. He just copied and pasted it over, and it really did show. Like if you took away Blackpool altogether, it would just be like one big flat plane all the way across to the other shoreline.
I mean, it's epic and it's a great picture too. I mean, I'm not knocking Isle of Man pictures, but you know, the lighthouse was a smudge, and what we've got in this, although the white swan that they've labelled it's being burnt alive by the black swan with a knife in its mouth, but nevertheless, that's where the big one, the Pepsi Max big one, it was called when I was a kid. Now it's probably just the big one, and Blackpool Tower. I mean, it is a really epic picture. I'm glad this is the new version of the Isle of Man for that reason, because it's quite beautiful.
It's on screen, Nath.
Who's barking? Is it your dog or Anthony's?
Oh, it's squirrel. I'll mute that. It's on screen for you.
I've got it up anyway on the live stream, but I'll just take it off because it's got a black swan killing a white swan.
No, it's where it's cropped it, look, and then dragged that end section that they hid into the middle, and you can see, look, the height of the shoreline.
Keep it up a second. I'll just see if I can get it framed a little bit nicer so it's a bit bigger. Bear with me just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Anybody else got any comment on this? There we go.
Well, yeah, essentially what they're doing by cropping off the left-hand side of the image is they're allowing you to think that the horizon is significantly higher than it actually is, because you think the horizon is going to be somewhere where the buildings are on the right-hand side, somewhere just below the buildings. But when you see where the horizon actually is and how much of that mountain and the topography of the land behind it is visible, you realise that there's nothing missing. Yeah, it's a bit compressed and it's a bit blurred because it's so far away because angular size and limitations to vision. But you realise that you're seeing way below. It's like you're seeing down to the beach. That is the beach. It's just compressed. It's still all there.
There's more than that. It's just in thinking. What we're seeing over at Blackpool, right, which is from the given 19-foot viewer height they gave us, and the distance across to the shore at Blackpool, that would mean that the geometric horizon, according to what they gave us, would be just over around that shore somewhere, where it's kind of undiscernible. But when you look at the other side, the horizon is higher. Why? Because the geometric horizon that they're trying to claim that would be over near the shore of Blackpool there, right, that would be kind of slightly undiscernible and we could argue about, it's obvious that the other one is obviously, the other shoreline there is obviously higher. So that means the horizon's gone way past that, which means there is an ultimate black swan, because it proves without a shadow of a doubt that the horizon is not where they need it to be. It's way off, and this is not even water. That's across land, I think, with the water after mostly gone out.
Yeah,
It
that's the
doesn't
key
really
point.
matter though. It doesn't matter if it's a mile past it, or 20 miles past it, or 100 miles. It's past where they need it to be.
Yeah, that is the
I like
key
to
point. The horizon's in the wrong place for their model, regardless of the perceived elevation of the mountains in the background. That horizon is their problem.
Yeah, it's higher. It's higher in the background. And Brandon just took the thing and put it over. He was just messing around with it, and he just caught. And I just caught it right now. The significance of it. It wasn't just that it was higher. It's the fact that it's obviously, because it's higher, that it's way, way further than where their geometric horizon would be. So this is you don't even have to talk about the Blackpool Tower. It's the horizon on the left and the horizon that they are looking for it to be, where they're looking for it to be at Blackpool. That's why they cropped it, because they wanted us to argue with them about this horizon, geometric horizon that may or may not be at Blackpool.
I agree. They're trying to say, look over here to the. Let's talk about the angular size of Blackpool Tower, completely ignoring where the horizon is and where it's not meant to be on their model, and it's clearly miles out.
Okay, before Discord, I just want to make a summary. So they require a geometric horizon. It's their R value derivative, and the horizon in this image isn't their geometric R-based horizon. It's beyond the limitations of Earth with sphere geometry, putting a horizon at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Now, the fact that they've cropped off that bit of the image, we won't even get into. That's the people, not the argument. But ultimately speaking, this is a black swan. It demonstrates that the horizon's beyond the geometric limitations of Earth as a sphere.
Yeah, and
Excellent proof, in
Blackpool
fact.
acts as a bit like the oil rigs. Blackpool acts as a nice marker for us. We know it's Blackpool's further than the geometric horizon, but this bit of cropping here that we've shown shows that the actual visible horizon, when not obscured by Blackpool, goes further than Blackpool. So we know it's significantly further than their supposed geometric, because it's further than Blackpool. So
Do you know what?
Black Swan.
Do you know what I thought you were going to say then? I thought you were going to say that Blackpool's acting like the oil platforms, in the sense that it's a distraction, because they would always say things like, "Look at how bendy the cranes are on the oil platforms."
It is, isn't it? You're right.
Yeah,
because
is.
all it is a distance marker for us. That's all we need it for. It says that Blackpool's further than their geometric horizon, and we can see that our visible horizon is further than Blackpool. So, Black Swan.
Better again, they stated very clearly that there's no refraction in this photo. They stated that very clearly.
Isn't it amazing? They can make refraction do whatever they want.
I think
they claimed there was no refraction.
Well, Brian, I think from what I gleaned yesterday when it was all explained to me without me doing any research or work whatsoever, I gleaned that when you presented it, you showed the triangles that they were using in order to claim the angular resolution. Well, as soon as they start introducing refraction, not only are they bending the light that they're trying to actually measure in terms of the target, but also where they're going to get actual triangles from. So in that case, they've just got to say, no, let's keep it without refraction so that doesn't become a complication for this straight line requiring maths when debunking or claiming to be debunking a flat Earth claim. I also had a little think on that. So who's making the claim? Well, Walter Bislin does the same thing. He sticks an angular size calculator next to a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. So what? You stick the comparison with a completely different geometry. Why would you do that? Well, because they need to do a false comparison. Well, you're claiming that it's just angular size reduction at distance. No, we've got a massive list of things. Half of them were put on the list by Rantys. So there's a whole bunch of factors. The fact that your list has one thing, Earth curve, in a geometric, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, doesn't mean that we have one thing that we assert, quite the contrary. But that's what a straw man does. Hold up one thing that they're going to say we claim. No, we don't. One factor in a whole bunch that you've ignored. But you're going to use that as a straw man. Not only do it, but do it with a black swan. Epic! Hold up a straw man, and the very straw man you're holding up is a black swan that destroys the globe. Just priceless stupidity on every level.
Well, isn't this called a white swan?
Yeah, they even named it. Even their name demonstrates that they don't understand why the black swan is called the black swan with a Karl Popper analogy in mind. Calling it a white swan, if some guy comes from the sidelines and starts hearing about them talking about white swans, they can just think, what the bloody hell are they babbling about? Unless someone sits them down and says, no, the flat earthers that we're contesting actually understand that there's a Karl Popper analogy where if you're asserting that all swans are white, you only need one black swan to show it's not. And they're using the analogy because you're claiming that all horizons are earth curve edges and they block things with their physical nature. And we only need to show once that it's beyond the geometric limitations to show that it's not earth curve. And that's what we've done. That's why the horizon in that image, and now this one, which is being made famous by three stooges, is also going to be used as exactly the same comparison. But this one's on land, doesn't it? Got a load of special things. Pretty too. Lovely jubbly.
It is a kind of the worst analogy to use, isn't it? To state the white swan even means you don't understand the purpose of it, or you're making a clear statement that what you're about to claim is false. Because you're describing it as something that is to be disproven by the black swan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It works for us.
That's what I'm saying. if someone comes from the sidelines, Adam, and I should have dropped that in, and know the Karl Popper analogy, they'll hear white swan, and you go, okay, so when it's explained in context, you're saying this is a white swan, so you're the person in the analogy saying all swans are white and being disproven. It's so stupid. Okay, we've had half an hour on...
1 second.
Go on.
The white swan thing came from Bev. Bev just said, it's just a white swan. What he meant is it's just on any normal photograph. And they took that white swan thing and tried to claim the normal is a globe.
Saying it in that context is right, Brian, isn't it? If Bev said, it's just a white swan, it's just a photo that doesn't comport, yeah, in there you are using it in the correct term. But to claim I've got a white swan as if you've got a gold medal or something, that's the...
Yeah, but it isn't. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? It isn't a white swan in any context, and to call it makes you either stupid, can't comprehend the actual argument, or you're literally saying this argument is part of the analogy that's proven wrong.
Yes, that's what I mean. He's saying is part of the analogy that's proven wrong. I think is what Bev was saying.
Well, did Bev see the whole picture? Did Bev see the whole picture, or just the crop version?
I don't know about that, but he just called it a white swan. He just said it's just a white swan, just like a normal photograph.
I'd like
one at a time.
Is this the same photo? Because I thought that Bev's son took this picture.
No, he didn't. That's a different picture of a similar setting, but from a different person.
Oh, okay.
So no, the picture on screen is taken by I don't know if he's famous or not, but a photographer that's professional and it's for sale. It's $25. Go and buy it. It's lovely. I'd like it. It's lovely. If someone wants to buy it for me because I'm poor. But nevertheless, it's a great picture. Again, I'm not going to pour salt on an old wound, but it's much better than what we've debated with before. Now, when we debated before, in this context, angular size versus feet and inches in Muppet Vision, where this will be compared to maths with the side of your own head in it. Where's the side of the guy's head, by the way? Oh, it's not in it. Just want to make that clear. But when we were debating about it, we begged the question alongside them and assumed the Earth's sphere radius 3959 with their assumption of refraction based on R. Now we don't do any of that. But this is also epic because it's a black swan. It just makes me laugh so bad.
Can I say something?
You know what? Go ahead.
If we just leave them alone, they'll do all the work for us.
I will be demanding it of them, Neil. And if they don't do it, I don't care. Because how much effort for me to say to them, go and measure the actual height? How much effort did that take?
No, I'm just saying they just keep talking and looking and they just keep proving that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, but they know that
Well,
we're
there's a
here
good thing.
discussing it. While they might not come here and tell us how wrong we are with this crappy little proof, see, they are on the sidelines watching and hearing, and it stings, man. I know it stings. I got John here to tell me just how bad it stings. I'm so glad John's part of the team. Good to have you, by the way,
Me
John.
too. Me too.
I mean,
So
do you think this is what the plan for this week was? They'd unveil this and we'd go Black Swan and fall about laughing.
And kill us.
Or Rantys an evil genius. And if he was to turn around at this point and say, look, right, I suckered them into presenting this. We got it all famous. We got it all genned up. And it's actually a black swan. And laughed his tits off. He would redeem it. It would be the only circumstance he could redeem all credibility, other than seeming like he's lying to both sides in all circumstances, always, which is how it looks at the moment. But if he was to turn around and say, yeah, double jeopardy, mate, I knew it was a black swan, then he might just redeem some credibility. I don't know. We'll see.
Are there any
This is
ballers
another-
are there any
this is
ballers
another-
actually arguing this other than Ranty?
We tried to ask that yesterday. QE did. He was like, who's championing this? Anybody in the Discord server? I mean, I haven't recently checked if everyone's off mute, but I will now.
Hi, Nathan. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, whoever you are. Flat Earth Solar, go ahead.
Solar. Yeah, the video with Ranty, he claims boldly that this has converted him, that he's firmly back on the ball side. He drew a little tape measure next to the mountain and took little millimeter markings on the tape measure to show the height of the mountain. He was completely sold by this image. So I
How could that not be trolling?
Who else is championing it other than Ranty?
Okay, we know the score with Ranty, but thank you, Solar. Okay,
but I just want
might
to add about the Bev.
We know that already. Solar,
Bev
hold on.
went to the...
Hold on. We know all this already, and same with Bev. So is there any new data in what you're about to present? Because if not, we're trying to find out if anyone else is championing
Just
this
one
information.
piece.
Go ahead.
No, just one piece. It was Bev. Ranty said that Bev went to the location and took a photo again and provided that secondary piece of information. And that was the smoking gun to Ranty, because now we had it on 2 times where they had this image, and therefore it proved that it was a common occurrence that supported the ball drop.
Hold on. Supported ball drop. So at some point it is being asserted. That needs to be presented here so that we've got the full breadth of this claim, because that is exactly as I assumed it was being presented, as a claim of a proof of a sphere requiring begging the question, proof of nothing. Perspective hijacking, Earth curve calculator. Perspective hijacking because it takes angular sizes, the thing they're obviously aware of, and ignores them, and ascribes things like feet and inches to the tower. How many feet and inches are missing from the mountain? Which excludes the angular relationships. Things get smaller with distance. That's excluded when they make it as a globe claim. Now you're saying Ranty's made it as a globe claim from what I've just gleaned from what you've just told me. So that needs to be... I'm saying that needs to be seen. Well, this is me being the lazy researcher where I expect it to now be presented to me. But nevertheless, maybe that's my skill. Because I am broadcasting.
Yeah, I watched
Before we get
all of
into
it
this,
quite in disbelief.
one of them does want to...
Hold on, we've got 2 people
Sorry
talking.
about the boss.
One or the other. Just Flat Earth Solar or who's Eli? Who's going? One of you.
I think it was just background sound with Eli.
Oh. Go ahead,
Okay,
Solar.
so really quick, I just want to say that this is just yet another major way to show that they hold contradictory positions. But how the hell can you say there's no refraction? I mean, if I was a globe earther, how could you say after this past year that there's no refraction?
Okay. We will come back to that. And Solar, do you want to just finish off your point and then we'll get back to Anthony, who's been waiting for ages to ask his question.
I've been waiting.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, go ahead, Solar.
Sorry,
And you,
Brian. That he was basically saying that the mountain in the background has dropped, and they're calling it ball drop, and that this proof that the tower in the foreground being higher than the mountain in the background proves the mountain's dropped, and it's in accordance with exactly what you'd presume the ball to have done, and
So,
that's the
okay.
retardedness.
Perfect. So when they say assumed to be as the ball would state, or however they've phrased it, that means in line with the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking. Earth curve calculator then. Excellent. So when I thought I'd got it wrong yesterday and I assumed that and I stated that it was incorrect in that assumption, I was not. They absolutely are asserting it with a feet and inches value for towers that will be dropping behind an Earth curve reified physical sphere edge. We've debunked. And not only that, this picture debunks it. Epic. Brian, go ahead and then we'll get to Anthony and his cast net in terms of...
Hold on, Nathan. Nathan, we have Bev. He's here right now.
Wonderful, wonderful.
This guy knows.
Perfect. Bev, I was going to get in touch with you.
Bev is here.
Yeah, I was going to get in touch with him, but we have got a queue. But I was going to get in touch with you, Bev, to ask for your presence. So I can't believe you're here. Brilliant. Excellent. But Brian, then Anthony, then Bev. Thank you for joining, Bev.
Okay, I'll be quick. This is the first thing I noticed yesterday when I saw this information. Was distance to object, which would be, they're talking about Blackpool Tower, is 12.2 miles. Eyesight level, they're calling it, 19.1 feet. It was a claim of that the photographer was 13.1 feet or something like that, and they added 6 foot on for the tripod, right, as they do, as Anthony said. Then the distance to horizon was 5.35 miles. Now, I went and I measured from the exact location with the exact height that they gave over to Blackpool, and it was just slightly over 5 miles to the shoreline, or straight across the Blackpool. And the problem was this 0.35 miles was all kind of wishy-washy and undeterminable. Sorry. So it was like vague. It was all really vague, right? Right. I'm just going to show where. Where's the other photo? Here. So they were. 1 second. Now it's going to zoom in. Right. Right. They were showing over here, and this 0.35 was in here somewhere, in this kind of vague grey area. It's like you couldn't really argue with him about the geometric horizon in there because that's where that should have started, and this is all not clear, right? But they then kept the argument, right? So I'm just going to show again, their elevation, right, oil line elevation, right, just happened to just match the 5.35 miles that would put their geometric horizon into this heap of nonsense over here. And then they started arguing about the sky, because that's what they did, isn't it? They're arguing about what's going on up in the sky. But over here, you have the real horizon way off in the distance, going up further than their horizon. And they hid that part. This whole section here was hid. And more, the whole section here, like this, was hid, right? And on top of that, as well as hiding that, they go over here claiming there is no refraction. So they cannot even claim there's refraction here, because they already claimed there wasn't. When the Black Swan, they claim there's a load of refraction, right? Not that it matters, but I'm just saying that's what their claim is. But over here, now on this photograph, they already claimed there was no refraction, and they've already debunked their own globe. So they have no argument. Sorry, just wanted to point that out.
Brian, that's
hold on, Adam, hold on.
That data you presented lines up with what they wanted to. It goes into that fuzzy zone, so it's not argument. And that's why that side was cut off, because it provides the data that just demolishes the ambiguity in the claim.
Perfect,
we need to know who it was that cropped off that left-hand side. Somebody's done that. Who was that? And I'll just give way to Bev. I want to hear what Bev has got to say.
Well, even though... Okay, I'll introduce Bev in a second, but you were asking who's championing this. Who's out there on the circuit actually promoting this and arguing this? And it came up yesterday. We'll brush past it, but I wanted the question to be asked again. That was all. It didn't necessarily... It can be rhetorical.
Yeah, other than Ranty, who's pushing this?
Perfect. I've opened up the... just before we get Bev in, I've opened up the public chat. So if you do want to chat from the public, if you're watching this live right now, then you can, as we introduce Bev. Are you there, Bev? I haven't actually said hello to you yet.
Yeah, man.
Excellent.
Too loud in the background there. The washing machine's going. All right.
Well, as I said earlier, I was going to invite you to come based on the fact that my understanding was that your son had taken a picture that's very similar. Is that correct?
Yeah. We saw the original video done by Catz at last weekend or something. Maybe it came out Saturday, Sunday. And as we saw it, it's like, oh, that's close to where we because we normally go a little bit further down on Southport Beach. That's where we took the sunset picture, just a bit down the way there. So it's like, oh, we recognise that, but the picture looked a bit, there was something wrong about the picture. So we just went, as soon as my lad finished school, it was like, come on, let's go and have a look, and we'll go and take a few pictures, So we went down there, tried to get it at sunset-ish time, because when you look at that other picture, the mountains are like obviously at sunset. When you know where the sun's going down, the mountains and the shadows are definitely. Yeah, and then the Blackpool was like darkly lit, and it just didn't seem right to me. So we went there to go and take a picture was to see the Lytham and Blackpool, Lytham St Anne's seafront, to see how the light hit that. And as you can see in the picture that I've put in the chat there,
hold on,
it's
just
lit.
1 second, Bev. Just 1 sec. Who's presenting at the moment? Is it Brian? Any chance, Brian, that you can?
Yeah, I stopped sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want someone to actually bring up Bev's picture now, so we've got a stark contrast. So now the picture we've just seen is from the artist whose name I can't forget to credit. I'm really sorry. Someone else can credit.
Kevin Jackson, Nathan.
Say it again, please.
Kevin Jackson, I think his name is.
Kevin Jackson's picture, and now we're going to transition to Bev's picture, if Brian's good enough to present it for us, or anybody else.
The one before Ranty did what Ranty did when he put it with the other one, because Ranty darkened it. He did all whatever Ranty did with it. I mean, I was going there to show them.
On Skype and I presented. Sorry.
Oh, Adam's got it. It's okay. Thank you very much.
It's okay.
Okay, just bear with me a second.
I can get you some more if you want.
No, it's all good. I just need to do a bit of admin. Just bear with me a second, Bev. If you can just zoom in a little bit for us, Adam, please.
I've just pulled that out of
Open original.
Discord. Yeah, I'll open original. Cool.
Oh, dance. Oh. Maybe leave it at that scale and just put it on a bit that's nice, and I'll get it. That'll do. That'll do. Just leave it with the big one, and perfect.
There's the marker, look.
Okay, we've got it up, and we've got it focused on the section to the left with the marker and the big one on the right. Okay, go ahead, Bev.
So see the way that Lytham and Blackpool seafront and all of the houses where the big massive refraction is, that's all lit up. You can see it. It's lit up, obviously not like a dark black line that is on the other photo. So that's all we went there for, was to, make sure that Blackpool's lit up. Because when I looked at it initially, I mean, if I still look at it now, Blackpool looks like a sunrise Blackpool, all misty and dark. And as you can see, the sunset Blackpool is all lit. All of those houses along that seafront are gleaming. There's little lights. It's sparkling. It's as though you can see the reflection in the windows of the cars running down the seafront. And there's all sorts of sparkles. It's not dark. So that's all we went there for. And when I initially showed Ranty that picture, that's what I was trying to convey to him. I said, that other picture looks too sharp. It's too crisp. It's like a professional photo, like it's been touched up.
Well, it is a professional photo. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
So Bev, was I correct that it was near sunset?
Yeah, that's because the mountains in the background, I had to go and try and replicate the shadows and the time that the shadows on the mountains in the background of the original picture to go and check that Blackpool isn't dark. But I mean, people have told me since that because the mountains are white, that will darken Blackpool. I don't believe it.
Can I just point out that historically, Ball Earthers would always tell us that when you go anywhere near sunset, that is where the most amount of refraction would be. But now, conveniently, because it suits their model, they're now saying that there's no refraction. I don't think so, guys.
Right.
Can't have it both ways.
Did you see the GIF that we put in as well? There's we took a time lapse of 30 minutes just before sunset to see what happens, and It's like Skunk Bay.
Hold on a second. This is
moves.
perfect. Oh, I'm sure the guy who did Skunk Bay likes dishing out copyright strikes, but that is perfect because it essentially shows, not in real time, but in something you can watch in real time, their horizon moving around, destroying their model.
That's
but
30 minutes.
Okay, let's just get that sorted. Sorry, there's going to be a delay. People watching live. This is how it is. Who's presenting now? Adam, please can you, if I take you off screen for a second, can you go and dig out that GIF? This is epic. I'm so glad you joined it. Almost telepathic. Adam, can you get this up or not?
Well, that's
I've got it.
Stuff we've been
hold
doing.
on, Bev.
At
Sorry.
the minute.
Just one sec, Bev. I just want to sort out the admin, then we'll get your opinions again.
Was it this one with these swans and?
Yeah, if you can get it up and get it scaled, I'll pop it back up, your screen back on once you've got it. Just let me know.
Okay.
I don't know yet. You tell me.
I think I've got Ranty and Catz in a white swan. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ignore the GIF, the comedic overlay. What are we looking at? Please don't interrupt people in G+. Can you tell us what we're looking at, please, Bev?
This is a time lapse of 30 minutes just before sunset, because as we finish this, we turn the camera to film the sunset. So this is as the sun's going down. It's getting cooler just before sunset, and a 30-minute time lapse. And you can see the distortion occurring within Blackpool Tower. It's as if you see the proper one, it's stretching like an accordion. From the bottom up, like the whole image is lifting and compressing and all.
If you could get this on a clear
what you're
day
doing is you're
or a
looking
clear
over,
day so that the mountains are in the background.
Hold on, guys.
Be able to
just wait till the end, Anthony. Just let him get his piece out, and then all questions will let loose. But just let Bev get to the end. Thank you.
it's stretching of it as it's getting cooler. Everything's lifting. I don't. The purpose of this was to show Ranty that you can't measure an angle to any of that. It's useless. You nobody ever does that sort of thing. In reality, the only people that measure this sort of pictures and put rulers on pictures are people in these Discord servers. In reality, it's not ever done. Nobody ever measures those angles. In fact, even everybody that's dealing with these pictures, they're taking the numbers from somewhere else and then calculating an angle. I don't know. It's crazy to me.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add before I get Anthony's chomping at the bit?
No, go on.
Go ahead, Anthony.
What we need is on a clearer day when the mountains in the background are more visible, so it's a bit more like Skunk Bay. Obviously, Skunk Bay is taken at elevation. This is taken at sea level. What you'll be able to demonstrate is that the mountains in the background will do exactly the same as the mountains on Skunk Bay do, which appear to breathe because they're moving up and down. And the middle ground, which would be the tower in this case, is also going to be breathing. They're both independent. They're both deviating from straight lines, not curves, straight lines, deviation from straight. And because it changes from point to point to point along the ray of light, that's the reason why they're going to be up and down. And you can't make any... When they claim that there's no refraction here, it's nonsense. Of course there's refraction. We're in the refractive layer, so we are going to be distorted by it. But it's just astonishing that they'll believe.
Hold on, whoever's. Hold on. Is that it, Anthony? Because I just want to make a point to that, and then Brian.
It's just astonishing that they will claim, because it's convenient for their model, that there's no refraction after previously saying that there's the most refraction during the day. But it's like this all day, every day, anyway.
Okay, so Bev, correct me if I'm wrong. Unless it's just me imagining it, am I drawing my mouse along the line of the mountains behind, and they look like they are doing precisely what Anthony just described?
That's what I was going to say, Nate. Them mountains are breathing.
The whole
I can
image
see
is
that.
moving, yeah.
I was going to say, Anthony, maybe it's just the way you've got your screen set up, but from what I'm looking at, I can see the mountains behind moving at a slightly different rate, almost like they've got a parallax with all of the rest of basically the whole image moving. It's like...
Yeah. Have you seen the image? Because there's like 10 miles across to the bay to Blackpool, and then there's like maybe a mile or so of land from the front to Blackpool Tower. then just beyond Blackpool Tower, there's another 30 miles of Morecambe Bay. So there's another band of water that can affect the atmosphere behind Blackpool Tower and the mountains behind. So it's not surprising that they're all independent.
But there's another additional point to be aware of here. This is a northerly observation. Me and Ranty went and did an observation where he was looking north through an estuary and I was looking south, and we were both meant to be looking at each other. Now, he could see me clearly, but he said to me, he said, "Can you see the cargo ship on the horizon?" I couldn't even see the cargo ship on the horizon. It was halfway because I was looking south. So we had both. We both had very, very, very different observation standards at that time. Yet he could see me clearly. I couldn't even see the boat on the horizon halfway between the two of us. So it's like, just be aware that because this is a northerly observation, you can expect better clarity when looking north. This is an ideal observation. We should spend more time doing this. It's brilliant.
Or charging them too. Sorry, is there anybody that's going to champion this just before we sort of transition to the after?
Yes. Bev, do you get the understanding of why I asked to use a drone? If you have a drone or Bev has a drone?
No, I said Ranty's got a drone. He could go there to Blackpool Tower.
Perfect.
Fly
We
his
charge
drone
Ranty to do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it. I mean, like, we went there to go and check and take a picture. Now, we have found this Skunk Bay effect. And I said, my lad was well chuffed when he seen that. He's like, well, we can definitely go there on a better day and film for longer. And you will see a better effect than that. We will be able to get definitely a good effect, showing exactly how much he's moving around. And can I also say, Ranty's never said anything to me yet. He's never asked us where we were. He's never asked us what camera we were using or what focal length it was or what temperature it was. It's really strange that Ranty's just took a picture that we posted to show that the lighting effect was wrong. And he's using that as a proof for, I don't know what he says it's proof of a globe Earth, and I think that's fantastic for somebody who's supposedly done 5 years.
Yeah,
so, Ranty, anytime you want to come and have a chat about the pictures we take or whatever, I mean, I can't understand why Ranty hasn't been and took this picture himself. He's meant to have a camera. Why is he using Facebook and somebody else's picture? Why is he not going there? He only lives just down the road. It's 13 miles away.
I mean, Bev's gone to it. Bev's gone and done it. I mean, what's wrong with you lazy buggers? Anyway, I'm going to say a massive thank you to Bev for coming on because he's almost telepathic. I wanted to get in touch to get him on to do exactly what he's done today. So a massive thank you to you, Bev. Thank you very much.
Can I say something to Bev real quick?
You can, but you'll have to do it in the after show. I'm really sorry. So with that, I'm going to say if you are watching on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels. I've been Nathan Oakley. See you in the after show.
What a lovely day!
Up and down, you know.
Yeah, he literally cut out the black swan in the picture.
Yeah, he cut
Right, but that's good. That's good because what do Globers do? Not research. What did we do immediately? Exactly what a diabolical genius would think. Of course, we're going to search out the source. Yeah, I know.
I wonder where you were going then.
Of course, we're going to go and do our due diligence. Who's this by? Where's it from? Where the hell is the rest of the photo? Are Globers going to do that? No. That's why they're walking into this wall.
Right.
He's an astronomer, the guy.
Only
Took the picture. He's not going to want to come and talk. can tell you that.
No, I don't doubt it. Whoever's presenting.
You know why?
Hold on, just a second.
You know
Owen.
why it is, right, Elijah? It's because the Globers want to be entertained. We want to be informed.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Whoever's presenting, can you just click hide on your little you Googled bit?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'll do that now, Nathan.
Thank you.
Can I say something about why I'm presenting again?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the reason I'm presenting again is I think that the point I made earlier was lost. It's not just that they hid some kind of using a particular, there we are, right? They use this exact elevation eyesight height, right? For this exact distance to put their horizon, their geometric horizon, right? Sorry now, somewhere into this dark area over here where it's kind of miscellaneous, right? But when obviously to the left, they hit this part here to the left because it shows that the horizon is not there. It's way out past this. And because of compression, and we don't even know how far this marker is here, but we know straight over from here to over there is 30 miles, right? Maybe a bit more, right? But they already, right, I am on board with people going out there and getting time lapses and everything else and getting people to do the stuff or getting ranty with his drone or whatever. But they already claimed there is no refraction in this photograph. So if the horizon is further than it can be on the globe, which it is, right, they can't even claim refraction with this photograph like they tried to do as a hand wave, which is what they tried to do with the black swan. They can't even argue that point with this. They've given us a black swan that's better than the black swan we have, if you know what I mean. Because
not
they
really.
can't even claim refraction
Hold
because
on.
they've already said there wasn't any.
No.
Make sure the photo's real first. It's not been touched up.
Just want to correct something for Brian. No, there's method in the madness of almost leading them down the path of claiming refraction, because refraction as a claim requires R, and that was
I know that
intentional.
I understand that part. Yeah, I understand that part. But the point I'm making, I've even argued with him against that, about that. Like, I understand that why QE put that in there. But the point I'm making about this is they have even killed that direction of their own argument.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
They can't even go down that road.
I totally agree.
Claim there is no refraction.
I know what you're saying. You're saying for the uninitiated.
They can never go down that road anyway.
You're saying for the uninitiated trench level glober, who's too dumb to not only understand the mode of silence argument in the first instance, is just going refraction. Well, for that guy who doesn't understand that refraction ultimately leaves their model in a paradox because their refraction requires R, required by a geometric horizon, therefore destroying the globe forever. If they're too stupid to realise all of that, and they're just refraction, you're saying that in this instance, are you going to refraction at us when the person claiming it is making it explicitly clear that there isn't any because he needs to apply triangles to it?
Yeah, well, they've already claimed there was no refraction. Ruhif, Catz, all of them, no refraction. No refraction, no refraction. So they can't even argue that point with us, even though they lose on that point because it requires R, the refraction, the standard, the refraction they're trying to claim. In this, they can't even say that. They can't even claim refraction because they already claimed there wasn't in it. That's my point.
So there is refraction and there's no refraction. Awesome.
That's probably why they're saying there's
Morning,
no
guys.
refraction.
Well, no, it's part of the bait and switch. What they would argue, I'm just speculating, and Arwin collared this perfectly and summed it up beautifully yesterday, but they'll say that in their world, yes, we have an atmosphere, and yeah, in our world, light does refract around a curve, but in your world, no refraction. You're like, whoa, what are you talking about? When have we ever said no refraction? Well, because we say refraction, you say it's wrong. No, we say you use 7/6 of a radius value, and refraction is real, we observe it, it's just not your terrestrial refraction in a bait and switch. No, you say no refraction. I'm burning that straw man. That's how that will go. No, in your model, no refraction. In our model, 7/6R. Because they're thick.
Yeah, but they claim no refraction for their proof.
Yeah,
they
in
claim
regards,
no refraction
yeah.
so they could take these nonsense angles.
Yeah, in their world, when they...
Surface.
Well, you're not listening. They're claiming a flat Earth debunking, calling it a white swan, and saying no refraction. Why? Well, because our straw man model that we're holding up that nobody's claimed as a flat Earth model only applies angular size reduction, needs straight lines just like their globe when they're using tangent planes, I might add, and therefore no refraction. And you go, well, what? So no refraction in this image? No, standard refraction's always in our model, but that's when we obviously know we've got an air that's sphere-shaped and we're on a globe then. So that's how we're comparing it. Yeah, refraction when we do it, but only at the standard rate. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's like, because then the person who's arguing with them doesn't realise that when they say refraction in both instances, they're saying, well, no refraction on a flat Earth, because that's what you claim, isn't it, flat Earth? That agree with me. I'm going to be burning that straw man in a minute, and it fucks up my maths if I can't use straight lines. So you're going to be arguing as a flat earther that we've got no refraction because I'm going to be burning that argument later. But when it comes back to the globe and my assertions, not only will I not include the angular size that I'm arguing for and burning also as a straw man, that'll be ignored as well. We've established that when someone pointed out what Rantys actually claiming, in line with the globe, i.e. part of the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculations and their feet and inches values. So if you think they're not content to do it when it comes to the angular size itself, which they're absolutely going to be doing, and Rantys made that clear from what I understand, you don't think they'd also do it with refraction? Yeah, they'll just say no refraction on a flat Earth because that's what you claim, even though it isn't. They'll just decide that that's the straw man they're burning. But refraction on a globe at 7/6 because, yeah, we have got sphere-shaped air, atmosphere, standard rate refraction. Because they've bait and switched you into thinking that refraction that we're saying doesn't happen on a flat plane is actually standard refraction on a globe because it's always in effect. So I can always pad out this argument to exactly how they'll do it. We've been doing it for 6 years. I know exactly what they'll say. Only on your model is it no refraction. Standard refraction's always in effect on my model.
No, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they can't say that. Because number one, they needed to be there to be no refraction for them to do the angles that they needed a flat plane to do. But secondly, there is no geometric horizon. They have nowhere to go. They can't even make that because the horizon is stretching off over to the land at the other side. They have nowhere to go with this.
No, I agree. I'm not decrying how wonderful it is as a globe killer. Oh yes, Brian, they are absolutely screwed. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that when it comes to the assertion that, well, you've said there's no refraction. Well, how do you account for it on a globe? Well, when I use a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, there's always a standard rate of refraction in that model. So standard is what compares to your no refraction when I need to use triangles to claim that you have as a straw man that you're not making that it's only angular size. So they'll just say it's only not in effect on your model that you haven't claimed when talking about the flat Earth and the angular sizes that are also ignored in their maths. Because that's a different model, isn't it, Brian?
Yes, but they're going to need the geometric horizon, which is they don't have.
Yeah. I'm not. Hold on.
They're missing that, aren't they? Haven't they told us we've never seen that?
Yes.
God,
I'm not decrying what Brian's point is. You're absolutely right, Brian. It doesn't change anything. I'm just saying there is still always an argument from a globe trencher's point of view, and that is the argument that they'll have. I already know. They've already had it. I've already had it with them on other occasions, so I know what their argument will be in terms of juxtaposition in false dichotomy, if you want a nice long title for it.
No, I understand that they're going to try and say, just let me finish this out, Elijah. Sorry, I'll only be a moment. I'm sorry. But I understand what they're going to say. Well, there's standard refraction because that's based on their ore. But where is the geometric horizon in this photograph to give them the standard refraction? It's not there.
Agreed.
You know, we do have a geometric horizon, though. It's horizontal.
Say again, Cleary.
Right? Hey, what's up?
That's not
we
geometric.
do have a horizontal geometric horizon that we see. You know, we don't see a curved sphere edge. But it is geometric. It's optical.
Okay, if you like. You can utilize it in that manner, but you're assuming the Earth's a flat plane when you do so.
Yeah, it's a parallel plane,
because the
with elevation.
The horizon is a visual thing.
I mean, immediately it depends on your optics. You use your eyes, and there are things between you and the horizon that you don't see. You use a camera and you zoom in, and there are things between you and the horizon. So obviously it's optical.
Yeah, horizontal is a geometric term, isn't it?
Absolutely, but yes, but then you're assuming the Euclidean in the first instance.
No, that's just the definition of horizontal. Parallel with the plane of the horizon. Horizontal's perpendicular to vertical. They're both straight lines. I mean, that's geometric.
Yeah, it is assuming Euclidean geometry.
It's not. Horizontal isn't assuming Euclidean geometry. It's a straight line. Straight lines are straight.
Let's reword
Hold on, he's right. He's right. Hold on. Hold on.
Geometry.
He's right. He's got me. You're right. I'll have to concede there. You're right, Bev. It's not even being pedantic. You're absolutely correct. I don't have to assume anything Euclidean. I'm just so used to the assumptions that are made and having someone play devil's advocate as a fundy. So I'm wired that way. But you are right. No, it's just horizontal. Why do I need to assume anything? You're absolutely correct. My bad. I stand corrected.
The way we describe the space that we're in, I'm sorry, Nathan. The way we describe the space that we're in is Euclidean 3 space, right? X, Y, and Z, Cartesian coordinates. That's how you survey. That's how you measure elevation based on a horizontal.
That's great. But what I think Bev's point is that when you're just describing something as being horizontal, there's no further assumptions that are required. So you can just make that statement as a statement of fact. Correct, Bev?
Well, it has to be measured horizontal, right? A horizontal is a very definite position in reality. It's a position of even altitude.
Just let Bev get to the end of his point before you all jump in. Go ahead. Can you just repeat yourself, please, Bev?
It's just a position of even altitude. In reality, it's used by everybody, and everybody understands a horizontal reference, right? And they all understand the vertical. Horizontal and vertical are perpendicular to each other. I mean, that's a geometric fact of reality. Nobody needs to go around
I
that.
use it in flooring. You're absolutely
I don't
right.
think anyone is willing to argue that horizontal isn't a straight line either.
Indeed.
So, yeah. Which is strange where Rantys done this. I mean, even Catz was doing trigonometry, right? So the distance is a measured horizontal distance from A to B. Now, they had Blackpool Tower along the way there. So they had a vertical distance of the mountain and a vertical height of Blackpool Tower. Now, those two verticals in their drawing, using the trigonometry that they used, were both right angles. They were both right lines, which would have made them parallel to each other. It's the only way triangles work in reality. That's the basis of surveying. I mean, that's what we've been doing all this time. It's just trying to base on is level horizontal or is there a curve? Loads of people say there's a curve. It appears Ranty now thinks that horizontal baseline has a drop to it. I don't know how that occurred from looking at a picture, but yeah, it's horizontal.
That's insanity. What is going on?
Just knows willing ignorance. He's just playing around. Come on.
Yeah, I think he's trolling them. I think seriously.
I think he's trolling them
because this is as though he's leading them into this conversation right now. What Ranty has to do now is explain: is there a drop? Or is there a hump? Which of the globe earthers is he? With the water level dropping from your position, or the water level humping in between the two ends of your water level? Like, that's the age-old baller paradox.
Ludicrous.
They ballers don't want to do it. I think they've pushed Ranty up to have a go at it. It's going to be fun time.
Maybe they hired them.
Go on, whoever it was.
Bev, do you think Ranty's being sincere in his position at the minute?
I don't know. I think if Ranty's either doesn't really understand and he's never looked into the geometry of how it all works, or I don't know. Like I think there's a load of people at the minute that the logic has been taken away. So there is no logic to base anything on. Therefore, anything can be imagined as being true. And I don't know.
I agree with that. People are running around saying level is curve. Yeah, that's not logical.
Well, I had a conversation. Well, I had a debate with Zanuck some time ago about 200 feet of missing buildings supposedly across Lake Pontchartrain from the 8-foot observer and soundly, and he gave like where he was, and I said, based on this angle, the 200 feet that are missing is literally obstructed by the causeway. And Ranty couldn't work out where that was, and there's only 2 points of the bridge that it could have been, and they're miles apart in distance, and it's easy to figure out which parts you're looking at, but he just couldn't see it. He thought it was the one that was the angle is impossible. Like, we worked it out in Google, and he was looking at what I was looking at, but he didn't come to the conclusion I came to. And at that moment, I was like, that's when I figured maybe he doesn't understand this stuff, because when it comes to perspective, he was kind of, in some ways, seeing Xanix's point.
Yeah, Ranty.
I guess I'll judge up the video and make my point clear, like maybe tomorrow or something.
The problem with Ranty at the moment is that if he really is holding this position and it's an honest position he's holding, he's going to have to explain how it was that he was able to see Blackpool Tower from Hoy Lake 30 miles away when it's all meant to be behind the curve of the earth. He's seen that with his own 2 eyes. He knows that that's not got any drop to it. He's going to have to explain that because that's his hometown. When it's your hometown, you're kind of sentimentally attached to it. He can't explain that if there's drop, because it shouldn't be visible, and he's seen it with his own camera.
He said yesterday it was because he normally looks south rather than north, so he's never seen it looking south. But when you see a picture on Facebook of somebody looking north, then it's there. Wow. Amazing.
I don't know. That's not true, because he's seen it from Hoy Lake looking north.
That's what Ranty said, though, yesterday. I mean, Ranty says all sorts of things, doesn't he? They're not necessarily any of them ever true.
Hang on. What did he say yesterday?
He said that the reason he'd been at Blackpool looking south all the time at like the Welsh mountains, right? He'd never seen any curvature at all. He'd never noticed it. So for 5 years, instead of just going down the road and looking up towards Blackpool Tower, he'd never seen any. And it's just the picture that he saw on Facebook and the other one. I mean, he did a big show yesterday.
Getting paid from Ruhif. It's not a coincidence that Ruhif's involved in this again.
Oh, Ruhif, definitely. Ruhif's give us the Ruhif numbers, the drop numbers from 100 meters, 200 meters, the ones that we're going to use to prove a straight line and show there is no curve over a short distance. Ruhif gave us them, so this is definitely Ruhif covering his ass.
Ruhif's an abject moron.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You mean
This
Ruhif is
fucking moron. He compromised himself. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. Got to be chocolate.
Always.
Right.
I just want to know why you got your dates confused, QE.
Say again?
You got your dates confused. You got the numpty clips on Tuesday, April 21st. Wednesday, April 21st.
What the fuck? Who cares?
I'm confused. I thought I missed it.
Administrative error.
April 24th. What the hell are you even talking about? My God.
Back to Ruhif. What's the issue?
Ruhif, and 15 seconds, the Ruhif moron bashes his own face in with a spade shovel. I brought this up yesterday. From 11:30 to 11:45 on their belly laugher video, he puts up his software sheet and he says, I put the globe to false, right? Right beneath it, he then applies 7.6R refraction to his quote-unquote flat model. What's he going to do next? Married bachelor reconciliation? You friggin' bozo. Then he invokes ray tracing. Ruhif, do rays exist in reality?
Ooh.
What up?
Okay, can I respond?
You may.
If you were to ask Rumpus that, he would say they're not real, but you can treat them as if they're real.
You could think of them as real. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
They have been calculated for.
Very
Let
useful
me
when
just
you
say
want
this, so this is on the record for you numpty dipshit baltards. Do we have anyone championing this? Your average baltard just running around with this? Anyone?
That's about
I
the
think it's
sixth.
Ruhif.
Sixth.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Who's championing it? Because it's about the 6th or 8th time thereabouts that's been asked without
There's
anybody.
quite a
popping
few
up.
of them.
But it's as far as I'm aware, it's only Ruhif, right?
No, I mean, if
I
you
just
go
want
in
to bring this
gems,
point
like
up
all
because
of
I
them.
don't think it's been talked. I don't think it's been talked about all that much when it should be talked about. I want to thank them for bringing up angular size change with distance. That's a positive that's come out with this. Now I want you to please call Mick West, Walter Bislin, and Jesse the Klutz Kozlowski, and let's start adding angular size change in the calculations. Okay. Another thing, let me brighten your horizons with this one, knuckleheads. Performing trig functions on graph paper is not the same and is not in the same friggin' world as applying trig to distant objects. You friggin' numpty dipshits. We need the observed angle measurement, theodolite, sextant, from that observation point to Blackpool Tower, and you're going to feel the previous point. You dumbasses.
Yeah, they are. They're trying to compare. You're using angular resolution now. Why do you compare that to the Black Swan? These guys are goofballs, man.
That's not my points right here.
I understand that. I'm just saying what's going on in the chat. Yeah, there is ballers that are arguing with this. It's amazing.
I don't care about the chat skanks.
Yeah, I was just gonna
You
highlight
got
that.
those points.
When it's been asked on, I don't know, 6 or 7 occasions, nobody said, "Yeah, I'm championing. This is awesome. We could chop your flat Earth head off with this," and that's what we're looking for. Not some chat skank, as Q just called them.
Yeah, I think somebody yesterday asked Rumpus. He was over at on Jose's because Ranty went over there. He was doing the rounds, and Rumpus isn't having it. You know, there's nobody going with them on this because I don't think they've ever actually explained it well enough for any of the ballers to be able to take it on because
I don't think
it's
Rumpus will ever take this one on.
unexplainable.
I don't think Rumpus will take this
No.
one on. 'Cause he knows that this is not a ball.
No. Rumpus just isn't stupid. People often call him stupid. He has to say some dumb things. Doesn't make him stupid. Doesn't mean he doesn't recognise when something's an absolute flat Earth killer. No, I think he's going to say, yeah, if it is a flat Earth killer, I'll jump on board. If it isn't, he's going to shy away from it, and that's the bottom line, right? Rumpus knows what's what.
Yep.
Give him credit where credit's due.
So that's a good detection.
I asked Rumpus personally. What does he think about the whole thing? And he says, basically, I'm not going to say it verbatim, but basically he said he's very dubious about the whole lot. And I said, that's what I expected.
There we go. Credit where credit's due.
Well, if Ranty's gonna turn to the baller side, maybe we could get Rumpus to turn to flat Earth.
I don't want him.
That is kind of funny. I did think, well, it's like Wednesday now, right? That this supposed proof has been out for a few days. I'm like, why hasn't Rumpus showed up to tell us how we're utter morons and this absolutely proves the globe? That's weird for the greasy lawyer.
Exactly, chocolate. Exactly, chocolate. Right, that's why I tried to get Anthony to reiterate that question on the live show. That's why I stopped and paused and asked QE to reiterate it on yesterday's show. If this is a flat Earth killer, who's here championing it? Answer: nobody.
Ranty can't even champion it.
But see,
he can't even come and talk to us about it.
But see, this is the thing. They've pawned it off as a flat Earth killer, but no one's. Well, I won't say no one, but we haven't really posed the question to certain globe Earthers about whether or not it's a globe Earth killer. We haven't even made the argument yet.
Oh, we have.
I mean, what's he gonna say?
hold on,
There's no
Elijah.
infraction or-
Hold on, that kicks off tonight, so I'll plug it. Although when this goes out tomorrow, it'll have already gone out. But I've labelled the video "Cat's Big Picture is a Globe Earth Killer." Lol, it's a black swan. So yeah, that drops tonight. But yeah, we discussed it yesterday. We're already all over this. I don't know if you were part of that. I can't remember if you were in the edit either. Eli.
Yesterday, how many times Rantys said Bev? He's got a personal vendetta against Bev. I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
That theory?
Yeah.
Maybe because we're ruining
what's up, man?
his game.
It's like a throwback episode. This is weird.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Nothing
Yeah,
like
I was saying maybe it's because we're ruining his ploy.
Nah, it's because when someone comes up with an absolute stone cold globe killer, let's talk about it in the other context for a second. I'm sick of talking about it like they've contextualized it, because it's not a flat earth killer. Nobody is here championing it. Let's just establish that. Now let's just flip the table and say, what is it? Well, it's a globe killer. It's a black swan. Rejoice. It's a really nice picture. And look at it. All of the old crews here to put the thumb screws on Ranty, Ruhif and Catz. It's epic.
Actually, is Sleeping Warrior still here? Because I've got another one. When I was there taking these pictures, we took the longer picture, which I found more interesting. Might take me a minute to find it. It's here you go. This one. Now, if you take the mountain shot on that, can you see that one?
No, you have to get, whenever you do something like this, you have to give me a second so I can get it presented to the audience. Okay. Is it in live stream? Could someone from G Plus present what's just been posted in Discord live stream? Is that possible?
Only 2 secs.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Okay, so you can see Blackpool Tower.
Bev, I'll try once more. I should figure a way, a little sentence that makes this clear. I'll think about it tonight. Just while we sort it out, I just need you to just hold fire so we can have your information up on screen, but it's going to take a couple of seconds. In the meantime...
Which one are we after?
The one that's just been posted.
I'm in live stream. Is it by perpendicular?
The one with Blackpool, Blackpool just at the far right hand side.
1 second.
Also, while we're getting it presented, Adam Meakin is ace. Just thought I'd drop that in there.
Super ace. What you mean?
Indeed.
Okay, right, Bev, if you can hold fire on everyone else in G Plus or otherwise, while Bev just talks us through why this is an ace picture. I'm sure it is. Go ahead, Bev.
Well, this is the same picture taken from the same side, so it gives you an idea. I mean, there is a bit of zoom in that also, but it gives you an idea of how small an angle these people are calculating. And when you see what happens, it moves up and down. But that isn't what I found pretty interesting in this, is if the mountains are there and you look at this on Google Maps, you put your position in, you put your line in across to the mountains and all of that. But you look to the left, all of those mountains, they go all the way along. And if you're looking on Google Earth, you know that bit on the far left-hand side, the last bit of land, you know where that is? It actually on Google Earth, the last bit of land you can see. That's St. Bees.
No way! That little nose that Adam's got on screen for us
that
now.
little nudge on the left-hand side. Well, on Google Earth, the last bit of land that you should be able to see on the left there is that. Now, I've always thought that's Barrow because somebody told me that that's what they were photographing from Blackpool. But since we went and took this picture and actually drew some lines, because I mean, it's just a picture, but yeah, you try it from Southport, Blackpool Tower, that bit on the left-hand side there is St. Bees. Now, if it is St. Bees and you can see it, you can also see that little bit of land from Blackpool. So there's a chance that the great Rantys been taking pictures for 5 years and looking at St. Bees 60 odd miles away from sea level. What do you reckon to that?
That was disgusting.
Yeah, whoever that was. No, thank you. Okay, thank you, Bev. Also, just before we get off track, I want to give you props. It's slightly bitter when I was thinking about how I'm going to give you these props, because it's the same sort of props I used to give Ranty. So you're the boots on the ground actually doing this stuff, right? And that requires a lot of commendation, in my opinion. So you're out there doing this
He's
stuff
just
and
taking pictures, dude.
Yeah,
Hang
but
on. So
I'm not.
theoretically speaking, then should I be able to see Blackpool Tower from St Bees?
Possibly. That's the implication.
Because that was what my original goal for going to St Bees was, to see
Yes,
if I could see
Anthony.
it, and it was that small. It was lost in the background.
Well,
You'll have
based
to
on
get
this,
it on
hold
Google
on.
Earth.
All right, well, if you've got the picture up, right, Anthony? Can you see what we're looking at? I don't know if Adam's prepared to just zoom back into that little nose. When you look at the angle,
Yeah, I'm looking at it. That must be Blackcomb then, the mountain at Blackcomb.
But
I think
if
so.
what Mev's
Yeah,
saying
that's
is
what
true.
I reckon.
But the reverse would be true in terms of what Blackpool would look like from that position, Anthony. Think about it. That said, you did say this wasn't at maximum zoom, did you not?
No. Oh no, that's definitely not at maximum.
I
zoom.
don't think that is St Bees. I think that's Blackcomb. It's the edge of Blackcomb, because I don't think you can see that far. It's too small.
I don't know. Have a look.
I've
If you
tried
can
doing
look at
this
them,
loads
all
of
of those
times.
mountains over there, why shouldn't you be able to see those mountains there? There's no mountain blocking it when you look on the
But where's
Google Earth.
Blackcomb? If you can identify Blackcomb Mountain, then we might be having a conversation there. But I don't think that Blackcomb is. I don't think that you can see that.
Like I say, it's just a picture to us.
No, it's
But
not.
if
This
you
is a
look
very
on Google Earth, that's
don't-
the furthest part of.
I've got to stop
land
you
that
there,
can see.
right? You can't downplay what you're doing here, right? This is a very exciting time. I've got to admit, right? There's been seldom things to get excited about since 1st Jan 2020, Black Swan, right? Well, this is that, right? This is something to get excited about. And I know you're downplaying it, Bev, and I'm giving you props, and you're not saying, "Oh, great, yeah, I know, it's wonderful, isn't it?" And now maybe that's just because you're a modest man. Good for you. But don't downplay what's going on here. Anthony got it right yesterday when I was making the edit. I was smiling from ear to ear when Anthony's like, "This needs more investigation, this does." I'm like, "Yeah, you're damn right." Not only that, we can put the thumb screws on them to do it. It's all positive for us. So don't downplay this, and pat yourself on the back. I'm going to give you the same props as I gave a minute ago before someone belched. Your boots on the ground doing this stuff, you say it's just a picture, because it's sometimes a little underwhelming when you grab this stuff. Now, I've been over Anthony's shoulder when he's been doing this sort of stuff, and it gives me goosebumps. And afterwards, he'll be like, "Oh, I didn't quite get, it wasn't quite this, it wasn't," and I'm like, "You're joking? Just wow. You've been out there, you've got it, and now we're discussing it, and it is exciting." And there's glowbeds out there claiming that it comports with a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, from what I've been told today. And they're also using it to burn straw men of perspective only when it's flat earth model that only Walter Bislin's put up as his little straw man next to his perspective exclusive calculator. So in terms of the discussion, man, it rates way up there, Bev. So don't downplay it, man.
Adam, just zoom out a little bit, please.
It is.
We went live 3 times last week on 3 space.
I've even got
doing this.
all in all out, Tony. It won't let me do it.
Nobody's listening
All
to
right,
you,
just
Bev.
zoom out.
They're all very
on Google Earth if you want.
And then
Okay,
do
guys,
the favor, go
guys.
to Skype and get the image that I've just sent you on Skype and present it, because I think that is St Bees, because you can see that is Blackcomb there in the foreground. But if you look at the image I've just sent you, look at the shape of the land. Blackcomb drops off with a steep thing to it, whereas that one continues. You are looking at St Bees Head there.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I have it on Google Earth here.
I've got it
Just
up,
so you
Brian. So you got a little bit rumpus.
Yeah, I think
Hold on, guys.
we went live last week 3 times with this. Over actually on location. We're doing live tests all the time, and it's nothing big.
It is. Why are you downplaying it? Oh, God. Right, I'm going to get this through to you, modest or otherwise. Right, don't downplay what you're doing. Just don't. You're going to be getting. I don't want to have to blow smoke up your ass. Don't make me do it.
Don't.
Of course, he's doing it every day. He's saying.
Yeah, it seems that way when you're doing it. Go on, Brian. Was it
me?
That was Elijah.
For us, it's like, well, I mean, a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for the globe earthers. If you present the Black Swan and then say, "Oh, word, okay, well, what about this?" Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, you're right. It's a win-win for us. It's a lose-lose for them. Absolutely. Were you trying to get something in there, Neil?
No, it's saying he's downplaying it because he's got his boots on the ground and he's doing these things daily, I guess, right? So
Yeah.
it's nothing to Bev, but it's something big to us.
We got the camera, right? And then we went to Bedford Levels. So my lad sat in Bedford Canal filming that. The week after that, we went to Blackpool, Southport, just down the beach from where we took that picture, and got the Fata Morgana sunset. I don't think I've ever seen one better on the internet.
Awesome.
So these sort of things just happen to my lad.
You're
when
there
we take
experiencing
pictures.
them and capturing them, and I know you're like, well, so they're nothing. No. That doesn't follow. That's not logically following, Bev. But we'll get there. I won't labour the point too much right now. But the reason you got rumpus when you were like, we've been down there, done it live, is because right on screen for my audience now is who's doing this? Is it Brian?
Anthony, I think.
Brian has lined up the two different overlays from Google Earth and from man, it's just like back in the day, lads.
Am I
couldn't be
gonna have to
happier.
watch this on?
It's not. It's Anthony. I just want to say before we go. Oh, sorry. It's Adam. Sorry.
Okay.
Before you go further, I just very, very small thing to state. Right, it's 62 miles from Southport Beach, a straight line as the the crow flies to St. Bees, and that the heading sticking out there, the biggest elevation you can find at the corner of that is about 25 to 40 foot.
The thing is,
62 miles, but 40 foot height sticking out of the water at most.
I'll tell you what's interesting. From that observation point at Southport, where the guy's done the observation from that we're all looking at, I'm just going to quickly get the distance from that observation point up to Blackcomb, that tip where Blackcomb drops into the ocean or the sea. And you shouldn't see any of that. All of that should be below the Earth curve because the horizon's supposed to be blocking it. Because it's that far away and it's such a low amount of land, you shouldn't see it.
Okay, just at this point, just because we can, I'm going to point out that when Anthony makes those statements, it's based on seeing the side of your own head, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, Earth curve calculations. Now, that's got to be dropped in at this point, just so we don't have the temptation to beg the question for them when Anthony says those sorts of statements. So I'll drop it in, and I'm more than happy to not cut you off, but just drop it in because we've fought that battle and won.
Yeah,
so it's 45 miles away to the base of Blackcomb, and if you say the eye height was what 19 feet, was it? The geometric drop there should be 1,000 feet. Let me just check what the height of Blackcomb Mountain is. Elevation prominence 362, elevation down to sea level is 600 meters. 6, 12, 18, 1,800 meters, 1,800 feet. So basically, half of that should be missing to Earth curve.
Right, I've got to do it again. So, Anthony's just taken you through the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, Earth curve assertion that in a feet and inches value, approximately half of the feet and inches, which do not change with distance, are missing. Now, in reality, we're looking at a picture and shit shrinks. So when he says half the feet and inches value is missing, that means they've excluded perspective, and Anthony's doing it on their behalf. Just got to drop it in every time, as it's a battle we have won. Sorry, Anthony.
I just want to point out that half that mountain should be obscured by Earth curve, and the rest of it that's not obscured would be blurred by the horizon, the mishmash at the horizon. We should just be seeing the tippy top of it.
Said the globe earther, who's got a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, whereas a flat earther, I say, there's a mountain, I see it because it's there. There's no reason why it should or shouldn't be seen at any given rate. I'm just seeing a mountain. Not it should be behind Earth curve, because that's an assumption that Earth curve should be in the way, and we're going to explain why it isn't with refraction based on R when we've debunked horizons. I'm just going to take you through the entire battle every time you beg the question on their behalf, Anthony. I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
And I would say
what Earth curve?
I would
Yeah,
say
exactly. What Earth curve?
Looking at this picture,
Yeah, sleepy.
if you assume that
sorry.
you live on a globe, then everything you're looking at is a hologram. So
Hold on. Is it safe to say that
Yeah.
every picture that they're going to take, it's on a flat plane, so we're always going to win?
Yeah.
We're never going to see a sphere. It's
Well
not
said.
there.
Well said. It wouldn't matter if we didn't have the extra bit cropped off. Doesn't matter what the picture is. There's no Earth curve edge horizons. There's no physical drop. It's measurably, observably, and obviously bloody flat. But yes, well said, Neil.
Can I say something real quick? If you survey out 1 mile and you measure an 8-inch drop, would you call that an elevation change, or would you call that Earth curvature?
Call it an elevation
If it's
change.
water, you'd have to say it was.
That's right. You can never measure curvature because it doesn't exist.
No, that's correct. And what they show in terms of elevation changes, in terms of things like Google Earth, don't include any drop. There's no 8 inches per mile squared drop. It's just a flat plane. So it's measured flat. Oh, right, no, it went from WGS 84. So what he's saying is when they mapped it out, they utilised a tangent plane to use Euclidean geometry to survey it and demonstrate it as flat. Yeah, we know our way around your arguments like the back of our hand, don't we now? So it's all flat, measured flat then. Yeah, it's flat. Earth's flat. In case anybody's watching this right now and doesn't appreciate it, the Earth is
Bear in mind, Bev can't see the image that we've got on screen. Is Adam's still presenting? Is this still being presented, Nathan?
It is, yeah. I've got his Google next to the mountain that's Bev's picture.
It's fantastic. Is this the Bev, the image that's on screen? I know you can't see it, but is this the image that was presented the other day when you took the same image, or is it a different image?
Well, listen, when I did that the other day, when you say presented, I went on to Brandon's show and literally posted a couple of pictures like I've just done here. And that's it. Ranty then took them and did his darkening, and he cut it, and he did. So I don't know, literally, I don't know which one he did. He's never talked to me about it or whatever. So these pictures that I'm giving, are, they're just the pictures I took. Well, my lad took.
What I want you to focus on, Bev, is look at that black coombe, the mountain. Meeking's got it on screen now. I know you can't see it, but in the after show, or if someone can screenshot this and send it to you, you can see that black coombe is what we're looking at. But you can also see that there's more land off to the left behind it. Now, the land that's behind it should not be visible because, like you said, it's St. Bees. But that is completely gone by Earth curve, all of it. So we're seeing the land that we shouldn't be seeing. That's completely gone by Earth curve.
My God, Anthony.
When you assume a begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator and a geometric horizon giving you an R value, when you do that, you would make the assertion that it should be behind an Earth curve edge that we've debunked with the black swan. No, it shouldn't be behind an Earth curve edge. That's the assertion that would then be corrected with their refraction that we've debunked with the black swan. I just see a mountain. There's no assertion needed as a flat earther beyond me seeing a mountain. There's no should or shouldn't be there.
Elevation is all measured from the same horizontal. Whenever you're even doing that, aren't it? You're measuring elevation. There's no curvature to the elevation underneath that. It's just horizontal base, vertical elevation. That's it.
Sorry, Bev. Auntie's going to start hating me because he loves to beg the question, and if every time he does it, I cut his line and say,
it annoys me as well, Nathan. It really does. Stop it.
You are. You always do, Tony. You can't help yourself.
Oh, this has turned into a jab at Tony. I like it. I might keep the show going.
Can I say one more time that from Southport Beach, which I put it at the exact place where the photographer was, and I used the elevation height.
Do you know
that was given to
position
us.
where the photographer was?
Hang on. I used the elevation height that was given to us by the Catz, and all them.
Yeah, they just made that up, right? They don't know. Nobody knows actually where the photo was taken from.
Okay, Bev, he's just trying to make a different point. Bev.
I'll keep it very simple. There's 62 miles between wherever that photograph was taken and St. Bees. The highest piece of headland I can find is around, for that headland, at most is about between 40 foot and up to about, if you go back in, you're going up to about 290 foot. Now, according to globe mathematics, there is a geometric drop there in their model of 2,630.06 feet.
Absolutely epic. Thank you very much,
Brian.
Brian.
I was trying to say.
Excellent. with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to Bev. And of course, a massive thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, or joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.